The subconscious mind is the fertile soil of every man and woman's destiny. What is planted there, in faith and in imagination, must surely come forth in due season. The spoken word, clothed in conviction, is a seed that never returns void. Just as a garden flourishes with the right seeds, so does the life of an individual flourish when words of prosperity, abundance, and success are sown into the deep silence of the night. As you prepare for rest, you are entering into the secret chamber where all power is renewed. The conscious mind, with its worries and reasonings, begins to withdraw, and the inner self becomes receptive, like a still and waiting field. It is here that suggestion becomes creation. It is here that wealth and money, called forth by the law of divine supply, take root and prepare to manifest in your waking hours. Every fortune begins with an idea, and every idea is born in the unseen. That unseen is not far from you. It is the very substance that surrounds and fills you. The air you breathe, the silence of the night, the invisible currents of energy, all are alive with the possibility of increase. When you sleep, you do not struggle. You do not resist. You are open. And in that openness, wealth can be impressed upon your being as a reality already secured. Money is not a distant prize, but a vibration, a stream, a current always moving and always seeking expression. Many believe it is scarce, but in truth, it is infinite, and it flows according to the channels we prepare for it. Words of truth prepare those channels. Faith enlarges them. Gratitude clears them. And as these words are spoken, they move past the conscious barriers and plant themselves in the subconscious, where they cannot be lost. To fall asleep while hearing words of prosperity is to let your last waking thought be one of abundance, rather than lack. It is to close your eyes not in fear of tomorrow, but in certainty that tomorrow already holds provision. The universe is abundant, and wealth is as natural as the rising of the sun. When the farmer plants a seed, he does not doubt the harvest. In the same way, when you rest with wealth declared over your life, you align yourself with the law that never fails. The law of supply meeting demand, of thought becoming thing. Every debt is dissolved in this awareness. Every fear of money fades before the truth that riches are not created by labor alone, but by consciousness. Money is drawn to the one who expects it, who welcomes it, who blesses it as it comes and as it goes. In your sleep, you will be taught to expect it, to welcome it, to see yourself as one already enriched. As these words enter the stillness of your rest, know that they are not idle. They are living forces, shaping unseen substance into visible form. You need not strive, you need not chase, simply receive. Wealth is already yours, and as you sleep, it gathers itself to meet you upon waking. The subconscious mind is the secret workshop of creation, the unseen force that shapes every visible condition of life. It does not argue, it does not question. It simply accepts what is impressed upon it with feeling and repetition. When you feed it with thoughts of wealth, words of prosperity, and images of abundance, it responds with absolute obedience, rearranging circumstances and drawing to you that which corresponds to the seed you have sown. It is as if the subconscious is a faithful servant who takes the command of the conscious mind and fulfills it without hesitation. Yet many people misuse this power by impressing fear, doubt, and limitation upon it, and then they wonder why their lives seem to reflect struggle rather than success. To understand this law is to hold the key to transformation. When the conscious mind speaks in alignment with truth, when it declares wealth as present and money as plentiful, the subconscious accepts it as reality. It does not distinguish between truth or falsehood, between present possession or future hope. It simply takes the word as law and sets about making it manifest. This is why the spoken word, repeated as you drift into sleep, is so powerful. At that hour, the gatekeeper of the conscious mind grows quiet, and suggestion slips easily into the fertile soil of the subconscious. Just as a farmer places a seed in the ground, unseen and unobserved, so does the affirmation of wealth take root in the depths of being, ready to push through into visible form. The subconscious mind is unlimited in its resourcefulness. It knows where opportunities lie. It perceives connections you cannot consciously see, and it influences people and events in ways beyond ordinary understanding. Many call this coincidence or luck. Yet it is nothing more than the perfect orchestration of a subconscious that has been instructed to bring wealth into your experience. If poverty has appeared, it is only because the subconscious has been trained by words of lack, beliefs in scarcity, and feelings of fear. Change the seed, and the harvest must change. When wealth is spoken into it, when prosperity is declared as your rightful inheritance, the subconscious reorganizes everything to match that decree. Consider how automatic the subconscious is in directing the body. Without conscious effort, the heart beats, the lungs expand, the blood circulates. In the same way, when wealth is impressed upon it, the subconscious automatically directs actions, attracts ideas, and opens pathways without your deliberate planning. You may find yourself meeting the right person at the right time, discovering an opportunity unexpectedly, or being guided toward an idea that brings financial increase. These are not accidents but the faithful execution of commands planted in the inner mind. The great truth is that the subconscious cannot be left empty. It will always be at work, drawing experiences to you. If you do not feed it with wealth, it will simply echo the beliefs you have absorbed from the world. Beliefs in limitation, in struggle, in shortage. That is why it is essential to guard the words you speak, the images you hold, and especially the last thoughts before sleep. For in those quiet moments, the subconscious takes instruction, and throughout the night it labors to bring it forth. If you give it the word of prosperity, it works with precision to manifest prosperity. If you give it the word of lack, it manifests lack with the same fidelity. It does not choose, it obeys. The subconscious mind, when filled with wealth consciousness, becomes a magnet to money. Just as a magnet draws metal without effort, so does a mind rich in prosperity draw money and opportunity without struggle. This attraction is not based on toil or strain, but on vibration. Wealth is a vibration, money is a vibration, and when your inner mind accepts wealth as real, it radiates a frequency that calls forth the matching form. You cannot see the magnetic force, yet it works without fail. The subconscious, impressed with wealth, broadcasts that vibration continually, attracting circumstances that harmonize with it. It is also important to understand that the subconscious works only in the present. It does not operate with someday or tomorrow. It acts now. If you affirm that wealth will come, the subconscious hears only delay and postponement. But if you affirm that wealth is here, that abundance is present now, the subconscious accepts that as the current state and begins at once to make it visible. This is why words such as, "I am wealthy," "I have abundance," "money flows to me freely," are powerful. They declare the reality as already complete. The subconscious does not wait, it begins creating in this very moment. Impressing wealth on the subconscious requires more than idle repetition. It requires feeling. The words must be clothed with belief, with the emotion of certainty, with the vibration of gratitude. When you feel the truth of your words, the subconscious absorbs them deeply, for emotion is the language it understands best. Words without feeling are like seeds scattered on stone. They do not take root. But words spoken with conviction and felt as reality sink into the fertile soil and bring forth a harvest. To imagine yourself already in possession of money, to feel the joy of financial freedom, to rest in the certainty that provision is secured. This is how wealth becomes impressed upon the inner mind. Night after night, as you repeat the truth of abundance before sleep, you are steadily reshaping the patterns of your subconscious. Old beliefs of struggle begin to dissolve, and new beliefs of prosperity grow strong. It may not be visible immediately, but the process is as certain as the law of growth. The subconscious never fails to bring forth what is planted in it. Just as the farmer does not dig up the seed each morning to see if it has sprouted, so must you trust the unseen work of the subconscious. It is bringing forth wealth in its perfect time, in perfect ways, and in perfect measure. When you align your conscious word with the truth of wealth and impress it upon the subconscious, you are working with the most powerful force available to you. The outer world is but a reflection of the inner. Change the subconscious pattern, and the outer circumstances cannot resist changing. Every bill, every bank account, every opportunity begins to shift to match the new image of wealth you have planted within. This is the law, unfailing and exact. The subconscious is the servant of your word, and when that word is prosperity, it must deliver prosperity. Prosperity is not a rare event, not a prize for the fortunate few, not something to be wrestled from the hands of fate. Prosperity is a natural law, as natural as the rising of the sun, the flowing of rivers, the unfolding of a flower. The universe is rich beyond measure, filled with endless supply. And the same intelligence that created the stars, the seas, and the soil also created provision for every need of man. There is no lack in the divine order, only abundance seeking expression. To see prosperity as struggle is to misunderstand its very nature. The bird does not toil for its song, the tree does not strive for its blossoms, and the sun does not strain to shine. All act in harmony with the law of their being, and their supply flows without resistance. Prosperity for mankind is the same. Governed by the law of infinite supply, ready to unfold without struggle when the mind aligns with it. Many have been taught to believe that money is scarce, that wealth is hard won, that only through sweat and endless effort can one be provided for. This belief has been sown by generations who looked only at appearances and not at principle. Appearances may show poverty, but principle reveals abundance. Look at the earth and you will see evidence of it everywhere. The grains of sand upon the shore are without number. The stars in the night sky cannot be counted. The leaves on the trees renew themselves season after season without depletion. Creation is overflowing, generous, extravagant in its supply. That same extravagance is the truth of prosperity in human affairs. Wealth is not earned by struggle but claimed by alignment with the law that never fails. When one begins to recognize prosperity as law, fear begins to dissolve. Fear comes from the belief that there is not enough, that supply is uncertain, that one must compete or fight for limited resources. But in truth, there is no competition in divine law. What belongs to you cannot be taken, and what belongs to another cannot be claimed by you. Each person draws from the infinite storehouse according to their own consciousness, and no man's prosperity diminishes another's. The ocean does not run dry when one drinks a cup of water. The sky is not diminished when one candle is lit. So it is with money, wealth, and abundance. To believe otherwise is to hold a false idea, and that false idea creates struggle where none is required. Prosperity flows where it is welcomed, and it withdraws where it is resisted. Resistance comes through doubt, fear, and the belief that wealth is unnatural or undeserved. Yet the law is impartial. Just as gravity does not care who uses it, prosperity does not care who aligns with it. It simply flows according to belief. If one believes in scarcity, scarcity appears. If one believes in abundance, abundance appears. The law works with precision, without error, without favoritism. Prosperity is therefore not a gamble, not a chance occurrence, but the guaranteed result of aligning thought, word, and expectation with the truth of infinite supply. Struggle is born from separation. The belief that man is cut off from his source, left to earn, grasp, and scrape in order to survive. But man is never separated from source, any more than a ray of sunlight is separated from the sun. The current of prosperity flows ceaselessly, and to step into it requires only awareness and acceptance. When you accept that prosperity is natural, you cease struggling, and when you cease struggling, you allow the law to work unhindered. Strain and worry clog the channels through which abundance flows, but calm expectation opens them wide. To rest in the truth that prosperity is as natural as breath is to live without fear of tomorrow, for tomorrow must carry its own provision. Look at the lilies of the field. They do not labor, yet they are clothed in splendor. Look at the sparrows, they do not store in barns, yet they are fed. These are not idle sayings but demonstrations of the law in action. Nature is filled with proof that prosperity is not a struggle, but a constant, generous provision for all creation. Man, too, is part of this creation, not apart from it, And when he remembers this truth, his life begins to reflect the same effortless supply. Money is drawn in the same way the bee is drawn to the blossom. Naturally, without force, simply by being in alignment with its nature. Prosperity is a state of consciousness, not a bank balance. A person with wealth, consciousness can draw money easily, while one with poverty, consciousness may lose money no matter how much comes. To hold the idea of prosperity as natural is to shift the inner state, and when the inner state shifts, the outer world must follow. This is why affirmations, visualizations, and spoken words are so vital. They train the inner mind to accept prosperity as law. As the subconscious accepts this, actions, opportunities, and circumstances adjust accordingly. What once seemed impossible begins to unfold without effort, because the law is always working, and you have simply aligned yourself with it. Effort has its place, but effort alone is not the source of wealth. Many labor endlessly and remain in want, while others move with ease and draw riches. The difference lies in consciousness. To labor with the belief in scarcity is to struggle for little return. But to labor with the belief in prosperity is to see even small actions multiplied. Prosperity is not earned in sweat but revealed through alignment. Work can be a channel, but it is never the source. The source is infinite and unseen, and it supplies through countless avenues. When you know prosperity is natural, you release the tight grasp on one channel, and you open yourself to receive from many. Consider the child who trusts without question that his needs will be met. He does not worry about supply, yet his needs are provided for. Prosperity works in much the same way. To enter into the childlike faith that abundance is natural is to release the strain of doubt. Prosperity then flows in quietly, steadily, without effort, for it has always been present, awaiting only your recognition. The struggle vanishes not because circumstances change first, but because the inner belief shifts first, and the outer must follow. When prosperity is seen as natural, you no longer plead for it, you no longer chase after it, you no longer fear its absence. You rest in the certainty that the law is unfailing. You declare wealth as present, and it appears. You give thanks for abundance, and more comes. You expect money to flow, and it flows. Not by struggle, but by the quiet operation of a law as certain as gravity, as precise as mathematics, as constant as the seasons. This is prosperity as it truly is, never a battle to win, but a law to accept, a truth to embody, and a natural flow that needs no strain. Words are living forces, and every word spoken with belief is a seed sown into the unseen field of consciousness. Just as the farmer casts seed into the soil and trusts the law of growth to do its perfect work, so do the words spoken in faith create channels through which money flows into life. These channels are not forced into existence by struggle, but are shaped naturally by the power of the spoken word. Every declaration of prosperity, every affirmation of wealth, every utterance of abundance is a blueprint given to the subconscious mind and to the unseen forces of supply. The words themselves are not empty sounds. They are commands, decrees, instructions that shape substance and set in motion the law of increase. When one says with conviction that money flows freely and easily, the very vibration of that word prepares a pathway. It directs attention to opportunities, opens the mind to receive ideas, and influences unseen conditions to bring about corresponding results. Words spoken in faith are not mere wishes or idle repetitions, they are creative forces that cannot return void. The subconscious accepts them as fact, and the universe responds by arranging circumstances to fulfill them. Just as a river carves its channel and water flows without effort, words carve out mental and spiritual channels through which wealth may pour. The greater the faith, the wider the channel, and the more abundant the flow. Many people unknowingly speak against their own prosperity by declaring lack, limitation, and hardship. Words of fear build channels of obstruction. Words of doubt construct barriers that block the flow of supply. When a person says, "I never have enough," the subconscious accepts this as instruction and faithfully creates conditions that match it. When one declares, "Money is scarce," the channel narrows and money struggles to enter. Yet the moment words of truth are spoken, words such as "I am rich in every good way," "Wealth flows constantly into my life," "Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways," a new channel is created, and the law of supply moves swiftly to fill it. It is not the effort behind the words, but the belief they carry that shapes reality. A single word spoken with deep conviction can outweigh 100 spoken without faith. The subconscious does not respond to empty speech, but to the emotional charge and certainty with which words are expressed. This is why it is essential not only to say words of prosperity, but to feel their truth as they are spoken. To say, "I am prosperous," with the vibration of gratitude and certainty, is to engrave that truth upon the subconscious and to establish a strong and clear channel for money to flow. The spoken word is a bridge between the seen and the unseen. It takes the invisible idea of prosperity and gives it shape, form, and energy in the realm of thought, where it can then manifest in the physical. Every word is a decree, whether for abundance or for lack. When the words are aligned with truth, with the law of infinite supply, they open channels for wealth to flow unhindered. When words contradict truth and affirm poverty, they shut down the flow and create blockages. The choice of words is the choice of channels, and the channels chosen will determine the flow experienced. Money itself is not the source of prosperity. It is only one form through which prosperity flows. The source is the infinite, the unseen, the inexhaustible supply of the universe. Words are the tools that shape the pathways through which this supply can reach you in tangible form. To continually speak words of prosperity is to continually widen and strengthen these pathways. To cease speaking them is to allow them to shrink and grow over with the weeds of doubt and fear. Constant use of the spoken word in alignment with prosperity keeps the channels open, fresh, and flowing. Faith gives life to the words. Without faith, words are lifeless and produce little. With faith, words are living seeds that must grow. The farmer does not doubt whether his seed will sprout. He plants and expects the harvest. In the same way, when words of wealth are spoken in faith, they must manifest in some form. For the law cannot be broken. The timing and the manner may differ from expectation, but the result is always the same. The word spoken in truth brings forth after its kind. Words of increase bring increase. Words of abundance bring abundance. Words of money bring money. Every spoken word sets a vibration into motion, and vibrations draw to themselves that which harmonizes with them. To declare, "I am open to receive money now," is to release a vibration that calls forth opportunities, ideas, and connections that align with receiving. To declare, "I cannot afford this," is to release a vibration that attracts more conditions of lack. The subconscious does not filter these statements, it simply obeys. The universe does not judge these vibrations, it simply responds. Thus, the wise choice of words becomes the wise choice of experience. Words of prosperity create expectancy, and expectancy is the magnet that draws supply. When you continually affirm wealth, your mind begins to anticipate it, your eyes begin to notice it, your actions begin to align with it, and your environment begins to reflect it. The expectancy itself becomes a wide channel, and money flows into it with ease. Words repeated day by day, night after night, shape the deep patterns of the subconscious until prosperity becomes the natural state of mind, and money flows as naturally as water through an open stream. The channel created by words is not limited to one avenue. When you speak in faith that money flows to you freely, you open yourself to countless sources. It may come through your work, through unexpected gifts, through opportunities, through ideas, through investments, through avenues unseen and unimaginable to the conscious mind. The words do not dictate how. It is the work of the law to provide the way. Your task is only to speak the truth with conviction, to keep the channels open, and to refuse to speak words that close them. Every word spoken in faith is a declaration of sovereignty, a claim upon the riches of the universe. The moment you declare, "Money comes to me easily," you have set in motion a current of energy that must return to you as experience. The more often this is spoken with faith, the stronger the current becomes, and the more naturally money finds its way into your life. Words are never wasted, everyone produces after its kind. The wise use of words, therefore, is the wise use of prosperity. The careless use of words is the careless scattering of poverty. To fill the day with affirmations of wealth, to speak abundance in the morning, throughout the day, and before sleep, is to continually carve and widen the channels of supply. Each repetition deepens the pattern, strengthens the vibration, and secures the flow. Over time, the subconscious becomes so thoroughly impressed with wealth that it cannot conceive of lack, and in this state money must continually flow. This is the power of words spoken in faith. They do not merely describe reality, they create it, and they create it in exact proportion to the belief behind them. Gratitude and expectation are the two wings upon which abundance rises, the twin forces that open the heart and mind to receive wealth in its fullest measure. Gratitude is the acknowledgement that supply already exists, that provision is present, that the universe has already answered every need. Expectation is the confident anticipation that more is always on the way, that the flow of prosperity is unending, that tomorrow holds as much provision as today. When these two powers are joined together, they create a vibration so magnetic that wealth cannot resist it. Gratitude secures the present, expectation secures the future, and together they open an endless channel of abundance. To practice gratitude is to recognize prosperity, even in its smallest forms. The one who gives thanks for the dollar in his hand prepares the way for 10. The one who appreciates the meal before him prepares the way for a feast. Gratitude multiplies what it touches, for it is a signal to the subconscious and to the universe that you recognize and welcome the flow of supply. A grateful mind does not fix itself on what is missing, it sees what is present, and by seeing it, it increases it. Lack cannot remain in the presence of sincere gratitude, for gratitude continually affirms that supply is here, and what is affirmed grows. Expectation is the forward gaze of faith. It is the inner knowing that the stream of supply never runs dry, that every day brings new channels for money, that every opportunity is a doorway to more. Expectation is not wishful thinking, it is certainty clothed in anticipation. When you expect wealth, you behave as though it is already coming. You move with confidence, you make decisions without fear, you take actions that align with prosperity. This expectancy draws wealth with irresistible force, for the universe always responds to the vibration of belief. Where expectation is absent, doors may open and remain unseen. Where expectation is present, doors open and are eagerly walked through. Gratitude turns the mind toward abundance, and expectation keeps it there. A grateful person cannot dwell on lack, for his attention is filled with the evidence of supply. An expectant person cannot dwell on fear, for his heart is lifted by the certainty of more to come. These two states of mind dissolve worry, remove doubt, and silence the voice of limitation. Together, they form a continual affirmation: I am supplied, and I will always be supplied. This affirmation, spoken not only in words but in feeling, becomes the foundation of a prosperous life. Money is drawn to the atmosphere of gratitude and expectation. Just as a flower turns to the sun, wealth turns toward those who appreciate and anticipate it. Gratitude says to money, you are welcome here. Expectation says to money, I know you are always arriving. When these two are present, the flow cannot be hindered. Without them, even great riches may slip away. For the subconscious mind left untrained in gratitude and expectation will find ways to sabotage and repel wealth. Prosperity is not sustained by chance. It is sustained by the inner climate of thought and feeling, and gratitude with expectation create the richest climate of all. The practice of gratitude shifts the focus from what is missing to what is present, and the practice of expectation shifts the focus from fear of tomorrow to faith in tomorrow. Together, they keep the consciousness steady and open. Gratitude anchors the mind in the truth that abundance is here now. Expectation lifts the vision to the truth that abundance is always unfolding. Without gratitude, one may receive and fail to notice, and what is unacknowledged withers. Without expectation, One may give thanks for today but fear for tomorrow, and fear chokes the flow of supply. But with both, the flow is constant, secure, and ever increasing. Every expression of gratitude is a signal sent to the subconscious that prosperity is the reality, not lack. When this signal is repeated often, the subconscious arranges outer conditions to match it, bringing more and more evidence of wealth. Every act of expectation is a command that the unseen bring forth visible provision. The subconscious obeys this as well, guiding thoughts, actions, and circumstances toward financial increase. Gratitude and expectation are therefore not idle emotions. They are practical forces that move unseen substance into form. They are tools as exact and powerful as any law of nature, and when used together they guarantee abundance. Consider how a child receives with gratitude and expects without question. When given a gift, the child's delight multiplies the joy of the giver, and the child naturally anticipates more gifts to come. The child does not question whether provision will appear, he expects it as part of life. This childlike attitude is the essence of prosperity consciousness. To delight in what you already have is to multiply it, and to expect without doubt is to ensure its continual appearance. The adult mind, burdened with worry and disbelief, often forgets this truth, but the law has never changed. Gratitude and expectation still draw supply as effortlessly as they did in childhood. The atmosphere of gratitude and expectation not only attracts wealth, but also keeps it circulating freely. Money that is received with gratitude and spent with expectation always returns multiplied. To thank the universe for every dollar, and to release every dollar with the certainty that more will replace it is to live in perfect harmony with the law of circulation. Money flows where it is appreciated and multiplies where it is trusted. Fearful hoarding blocks the flow, careless spending ignores it, but grateful receiving and confident expecting enlarge it continually. Every morning is an opportunity to practice gratitude for the wealth already present, and expectation for the wealth on its way. Every night is an opportunity to reflect on the supply that has come and to anticipate more tomorrow. This daily practice shapes the subconscious into a permanent state of prosperity consciousness. Over time, the attitude of gratitude and expectation becomes so natural that lack cannot enter the mind, and when lack cannot enter the mind, it cannot appear in life. The inner state and the outer world always correspond, and when the inner state is one of gratitude and expectation, the outer world must mirror it with abundance. Gratitude softens the heart and expectation strengthens the will. Gratitude humbles, reminding you that supply is not of your making but of the infinite source. Expectation empowers, reminding you that you are an heir to that source and entitled to its riches. Gratitude keeps you open, expectation keeps you moving forward. Gratitude sees wealth in what already is, expectation sees wealth in what is to come. To live in both is to live in the continual flow of prosperity, where every need is met, every desire fulfilled, every fear dissolved. When gratitude and expectation become your constant companions, life takes on a rhythm of abundance. Opportunities appear naturally, money arrives in perfect timing, resources show up when needed. And you move through each day with the quiet assurance that supply is both present and forthcoming. This rhythm is not the product of chance but of alignment with the law. The law responds unfailingly to the vibration of gratitude and expectation, for together they declare the truth: abundance is now, and abundance is always. Wealth exists first in the unseen before it becomes visible, and it is always present, waiting only for recognition. The substance of prosperity surrounds every person at every moment, just as the air surrounds the body. It cannot be exhausted, it cannot be diminished, and it cannot be withheld. What keeps wealth from appearing is not its absence, but the failure to recognize and accept it. Just as the radio waves that fill the atmosphere are unheard until one tunes the receiver, so the riches of the universe remain unseen until one tunes the mind to the frequency of abundance. Recognition is the act of tuning in, the conscious decision to align with the truth that wealth already is. The unseen is the realm of cause, while the seen is the realm of effect. Every fortune, every flow of money, every opportunity originates in the unseen. The mind that holds the image of wealth, the heart that feels the joy of abundance, the word that declares prosperity. These are the seeds planted in the invisible soil of substance. In time, they must sprout into visible form, for the unseen is always pressing into visibility. Nothing can remain unexpressed when the channel is prepared. Recognition prepares the channel, and the moment you recognize wealth as already yours in the unseen, you begin to draw it into the seen. Most people look only to appearances, and when appearances show lack, they declare lack as their reality. But appearances are temporary shadows, while the unseen is eternal substance. To build belief upon appearances is to build upon sand, unstable and shifting. To build belief upon unseen truth is to build upon rock, unshakable and sure. The unseen wealth is more real than the balance in a bank account. For the account may change, but the substance of supply remains infinite. When you turn your attention from appearances of lack to the unseen presence of abundance, you shift the foundation of your life, and money begins to appear in ways you could not predict. Recognition is not passive observation but active faith. To recognize wealth is to declare it with certainty, to act as though it is present, to live in the vibration of possession before the outer proof arrives. The farmer recognizes the harvest the moment he plants the seed, though the field still looks bare. He acts in accordance with that recognition, watering, tending, and protecting the seed until it manifests. In the same way, recognition of wealth is the planting of inner certainty. You may not see the money yet, but you declare, "It is already mine in substance," and you act with confidence. This confidence itself is the magnet that draws the substance into form. The unseen wealth takes countless forms before it becomes money in hand. It may appear as an idea, an inspiration, a connection, a new path. To the one who does not recognize abundance, these may be overlooked. To the one who recognizes, every idea is a seed of fortune. Every encounter is a door, every circumstance is a channel. Recognition sharpens the vision so that you see opportunities where others see nothing. Recognition keeps the heart open, so that you receive with gratitude what others might dismiss. Recognition ensures that no good is missed, for it is a continual affirmation, "All that belongs to me comes to me now." Wealth in the unseen does not need to be created, for it already exists in fullness. It is not withheld by the universe, for the universe knows only generosity. The only barrier is unawareness. When you recognize abundance, you remove the barrier. Just as light fills a room the moment the shade is lifted, wealth flows into life the moment recognition is given. Recognition is the lifting of the shade of doubt, fear, and disbelief. It is the opening of the eyes to what has always been present. The substance of supply is infinite, and recognition allows it to pour into every area of life. Recognition is strengthened by imagination, for imagination allows you to see the unseen with clarity. When you imagine yourself surrounded by wealth, when you picture the life of abundance, when you feel the reality of financial freedom, you are not creating fantasy but recognizing truth. The unseen responds to imagination, for imagination is the language of the subconscious and the signal to the universe. Every vivid image of prosperity is an act of recognition, and the more often it is repeated, the stronger the channel becomes. Imagination aligned with recognition transforms invisible substance into visible supply. Gratitude also deepens recognition. To give thanks for money before it appears is to affirm that it already exists. To thank the universe for wealth unseen is to acknowledge that it is certain and present, even if not yet visible. Gratitude keeps the eyes fixed on substance rather than on appearance. It says, "I know it is here, and I rejoice in it now." This joyful recognition calls forth the manifestation more swiftly, for it leaves no room for doubt. Gratitude is the proof of recognition, and recognition without gratitude is incomplete. Together, they form the perfect state for abundance to flow. Expectation naturally follows recognition. When you recognize that wealth exists in the unseen, you expect its appearance in the seen. Expectation is not hope, which doubts, but certainty, which knows. Recognition says, It is already mine. Expectation says, it is coming into form. The two are inseparable. To recognize without expectation is to plant and never water. To expect without recognition is to wait without seed. But when recognition and expectation are joined, the harvest must come. The unseen is already rich with supply, and recognition is the act that claims it. When you live in recognition of unseen wealth, fear of lack disappears. You no longer see money as something fragile or scarce, for you know its source is infinite and invisible. You no longer cling desperately to what you have, for you know more is always present in substance, ready to appear. This freedom dissolves the chains of worry and replaces them with confidence. Confidence itself becomes a magnet to wealth, for it signals the subconscious and the universe that you are aligned with the law of supply. Wealth cannot help but respond, for it is already waiting in the unseen, eager to take form. Recognition transforms every moment into opportunity. Where others complain of shortage, you declare abundance. Where others see closed doors, you see hidden pathways. Where others despair, you expect provision. This difference of vision is the difference between poverty and prosperity, for life always mirrors belief. Recognition is belief in action. It does not demand, it does not beg, it does not strive, it simply knows. And in knowing, it makes visible that which has been invisible all along. Wealth in the unseen is constant, unchanging, ever present. Recognition is the key that unlocks it and calls it forth into the light of day.